Thank you all, Admiral. I can say that to everybody. The Navy's doing well with these commands. Have any of you served in Iraq or Afghanistan? Admiral Gortney and Admiral Tidd. While there, did you serve with American Muslims in uniform?
Yes, sir, I did.
Yes, sir.
What is your view of the service of those who are Muslim in the U.S. military?
They're patriots who serve their nation.
Concur.
Do you agree that we're in a war between radical Islam and the world at large?
Yes, sir, and it's a generational war.
And that the biggest victims of radical Islam are people within the faith who will not bend to their will, other Muslims?
I'd have to say they're a threat to both inside and outside the faith.
But when you add up the numbers of people killed, it's more Muslims than anybody else.
That's correct.
Do you believe it's in our national security interest to help those in the faith who would fight back against radical Islam?
Yes, sir, I would.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So I just want to be on the record here that to those 3,500 plus or minus American Muslims serving in uniform, I appreciate your service, that of your family, and I respect your faith. Admiral Gortney, in the next decade, if nothing changes in North Korea and potentially Iran, are we going to face more threats from a missile launch against the United States by a rogue nation or less?
A greater threat, sir.
Okay. If we go back to sequestration, do we compromise your ability to deal with that threat?
I believe it would, sir.
Admiral Tidd, over the next decade, do you see more instability in the region in Southern Command or less?
I see no less. I see
Okay.
no less.
How many ships are you supposed to have?
Senator, if I were to accomplish the goal of 40% interdiction, I would require 21 ships.
How many do you have?
On average, about 6 to 7.
So to get to where you need to go, you need more ships.
Correct.
How many Navy ships do you have available to you?
On average, 1 to 2.
And the rest are Coast Guards.
They are, yes, sir.
So in Southern Command, the United States Navy is able to generate 2 ships?
Because of the demand for surface platforms in other theaters that are a higher priority, yes, sir, that's correct.
So if we sent you more ships, it wouldn't be a waste of money, would it?
Senator, it would come at the expense of other higher priority theaters.
But if we had a larger budget, it would make sense to build more Navy ships, at least from your command's point of view?
Sir, I would never turn down additional ships.
And when you say you need 17, what number did you say?
21.
21. I'm sure somebody just didn't make that up. That was
No, sir. There is a fairly lengthy study that went in to derive that requirement.
And that 40% interdiction is drugs and other contraband coming to the country?
That's correct.
So if we got a drug problem here, we're not doing much to stop it because we're certainly under-resourcing you. Would you agree with that?
I would.
So it's one thing to build a wall, which makes sense to me, but it also seems like we should build up the Navy to interdict the flow of drugs and other contraband into our country. So if we go back to sequestration, the chance of you getting more ships goes down, not up. Is that correct?
Senator, we're still suffering from the hangover from the last sequestration. Ships that had delayed maintenance, aircraft that had delayed maintenance, those ships are not available now to be able to operate in our theater. Any future sequestration would be catastrophic.
Admiral Haney, in your lane, what's the effect of going back to sequestration from your point of view?
From my point of view, going back to sequestration would be crippling in that it would put significant risk of these programs that we need for our joint military force as a whole, and particularly these long-term programs that are associated with my mission space.
Thank you all for your service.